welcome to King's Pages. I'm Daniel Lenz,
And I'm Brent Chittenden.
and we'll be your hosts today as we talk about some of the comics and reads that we have available from King Township Public Library through our various online apps. We have a pair of lovely, weird little towns to talk about in comics today. The first one up is Gravity Falls. This is a collection of short tales, the lost legends, that expands on the well known, well loved Disney cartoon show Gravity Falls. And it's done by Alex Hirsch, the showrunner, and I found it a delightful read that carries on the tone and humor of the show wonderfully. What did you think, Brent?
I really liked it. It was a lot of fun. I wasn't too familiar with the cartoon before we started reading these, but it had sort of probably kind of the reverse effect of other people. Like I haven't seen the cartoon, but the comic was good enough to make me interested in the series, as opposed to the cartoon driving people to the comic. But it was I like how the characters were somewhat positive, even though they're stuck in really weird situations and things of that nature. But it's like, no, we're stuck in this, but we'll figure it out. And I also
No,
like the dialogue. The dialogue was pretty good too.
it's true though about the positivity. A lot of fiction these days, comics perhaps more than others, but a lot of fiction doesn't have a very positive tone. It's almost like, oh, we have this terrible thing. How will we ever get through it? And they drag themselves through it, whatever it is. But Gravity Falls has always had a positive tone to it. It's very playful. And the comic, I think it actually speaks a lot to the comic, your reaction with how well it seems to have carried over that feeling from the show.
Mm.
It's in so many ways, it is the show on paper, and I mean that in all the best ways. If you have any interest in the show, if you've ever enjoyed the show, it has a very popular following. It seems the sort of show where if you know it, you love it, and I think that the comic does a wonderful job of building off of that.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell, it looks like the cartoon too. Like the art style that they chose wasn't a dramatic departure from the series.
Not at all. The comic artists they got here, they could have been animators from the show. They copied the style perfectly. Like I said, it feels very much like the show on paper. And many fans out there, I'm sure, will know that 2 seasons did not feel like enough of Gravity Falls. So it's nice to have a nice little addendum to that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, it is, as we said, a very much a positive tone to it, which is a stark contrast, I would say, to our other lovely little town comic, Lock and Key.
Yeah. It, well, it has a happy ending. I don't think that's spoiling anything. Is the book that it is that way, but it does start off with a rough patch. Again, we should maybe mention for the listeners at home, Lock and Key is not an all ages title. It is very much a, I would say, teen to adult, if I were to guess,
I think
depending on your views on things.
I think that it conveys a lot to let readers know that the writer for it, Joe Hill, is the son of Stephen King, and has obviously drawn some inspiration from there. It is not a happy beginning by any stretch. It is one of the darkest beginnings to a comic tale that I've read.
Mm,
And it does, and I'm, while there is a happy ending, it's the sort of thing that starts dark and continues there for the most part. there's a lot of strangeness and even a great deal of wonder and discovery in it. But through it all, it's not a sunshine book.
No, I
It
guess I
is
would describe it as,
incredibly well written.
yeah,
It's
and
incredibly well done.
the art from Gabriel Rodriguez is just, oh, he's so good.
No, he knocks it out of the park. It's not the first title from him I've enjoyed, and he's really done a wonderful job with it here. Lock and Key specifically is the tale of a mother and her three children who move to an old mansion in Massachusetts after their father husband has been murdered by a madman who then features throughout the entire first trade paperback.
Mm,
And it is a very strange house in a strange town full of keys that do strange things when put into strange locks.
yeah,
The
it's
house.
a
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
The house itself is known as the Key Mansion in the series, and I think it also speaks a bit to the weirdness of the town that the author chose a not so subtle call out by calling the town Lovecraft, Massachusetts.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I imagine this book will have a little bit of curiosity due to the new Netflix series that just came out a month or two ago from this recording. That's it, it's a decent adaptation of it. Like, it's one of those things that I'll know more once the second season comes out, because
Right.
there's a lot of setup and stuff like that. But the comic is just so good.
They wouldn't
It's
have made a Netflix series out of it if it wasn't amazing.
Yeah, to give you an idea of how I got into it, I was looking for something to read at my local comic shop a number of years ago, and the manager there, Nicole, was with me, and I'm like, "Have you ever read Lock and Key?" And she's like, "You haven't read it yet?" And she got this sort of sad face on, and like, she's like, "That makes my heart hurt. It is one of the best books out there." Like, she loved it so much that she has one of the keys tattooed on her. So it has a really good following. It's not it, and Joe Hill as a writer is very good. He's doing some work for DC right now as well. He's got a comic called Basket Full of Heads that's really fun. um, and Lock and Key, while the main story is done, they're spinning off stories of the house and the keys, so there's some more of those to come in the future that I'm very much looking forward to.
It's a wonderful read. It is a wonderfully written tale. The art carries out the story magnificently. And while Gravity Falls is the sort of tale where you go in with a laugh, wondering what hijinks they'll get up to next, Lock and Key, you go into wondering what nightmare they'll have to pull themselves out of this time.
Mm.
They're both great titles that I recommend for different reasons, but I think that anyone out there with an interest in comics and the strange will enjoy these.
I totally agree.
Well, that's it for today, and please check out these titles or any of the others that we've talked about here on King's Pages through King Township Public Library's online apps. Hoopla is one of the main ones for most of the comics that we feature. And if you're coming to us from elsewhere in the world, then check out your own public library, and they will probably offer many of the same titles we do. So, once again, this is Daniel Enns,
And Brent Chittenden.
and we're signing off. Thanks for listening, and thanks for all the fish.
Thank you for listening to King's Pages. Theme music provided by purpleplanet.com.